So today we're going to be talking about being disabled, mostly the whole chronic pain factor, at least for me, and getting tattoos. You might have noticed I have some now. Funny enough, petrified me petrified of needles, got 13 tattoos in a little over a year. 2 more to come soon. Obviously there are differences between getting a tattoo and getting shots, but you know, still it's funny to me. I guess first things first, let's do a little tattoo tour, shall we, since people seem to ask for that. In no particular order. 2 over here, this one came first and then this one. These are done by the same person, a friend of mine, who is actually going to do this whole arm eventually. At least that's the plan. But she had a little moon flash thing going on, and then I really wanted one of her moon sticks, and she actually freehanded this one. But the thing about my friend Noako, right, is that she mostly freehands her stuff, so you know that you're getting something unique every single time, and it's kind of personalized as well, so I think that's really cool. And so hopefully we'll have something like horror, moon, lunar, whatever-esque thing going on around here eventually. And then we have, if I can even do this, how do you do this? This is the first one I ever got. This is lyrics to Epic High's song called Fan. First one I ever got because I wanted to go simple. Not really a fan of having this be right smack dab in the middle, but we're going to fill this whole spot up sooner or later. We got this one, a little X from Jesse, Stand Atlantic, another Epic High. This is mostly my Epic High arm. Snake Flash that I just wanted. Then this rose. You know, everyone keeps making fun of people for getting roses, but I guess mine's only ever so slightly different because it's the whole damn thing. And then Epic High Love, Love, Love right here. So yeah, this is essentially like a whole, or almost whole Epic High half sleeve thing going on here. And then Sailor Moon Flash right here. And then Eevee and Pikachu. I got a story to tell about this one, I'll tell you that much. And then if I can get myself up here without falling, a little hurricane icon on the radar tattoo, because if you didn't know this by now, kind of hard to miss on Twitter especially, but if you didn't know this by now, I'm a huge weather nerd. Mostly it stemmed from tornadoes. Hurricane icon just made for a core tattoo, and I like hurricane season as well. Not that it happens, but learning about it. Anyways, moving on. 13 tattoos, I think 2 more to come. Yeah, who knew? Who knew? Little old me that was like, oh my god, I need them to mean so much to me and blah blah blah, and yet here we are. I mean, they do, but also it's just kind of like, to hell with it, really. So people might be wondering what it's like getting tattoos when you're dealing with a lot of chronic pain. You know, does it make it worse or whatever? As someone who's gotten massages, especially for my chronic pain, you know, I can sit for 2 hours with one of those harder massages for my back, and it hurts, but I also end up not making a peep. So with tattoos, it's kind of the same. Obviously, tattoos are not a breeze. Well, for some people they are a breeze, but I mean, with tattoos you're having needles go into your skin so many times a minute, so yeah, it's gonna hurt. But for the most part, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Even the hurricane one near my ankle didn't hurt as much. Granted, that took like 10 minutes total. Depending on where it was, mostly on my arm, doesn't really hurt. There are moments when I was like, oh, that's kind of spicy. I'll say that the one spot that hurt the most, not because of their fault, it's just because of me, is right here with this one. It didn't hurt in the sense that like once you get to the wrist it started hurting and I was like ow ow ow, but it was the aftermath because this is my carpal tunnel syndrome. This is where most of my carpal tunnel syndrome is. So during healing time for about a good week or so, it did amplify the symptoms that I would have. So I was going on a year with like not really having anything really being painful. I didn't really have a numb hand for the longest time, but once this started to heal, you could feel that a little bit. So that was a little bit uncomfortable. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. These 2 are like my 2 favorite tattoos. I don't regret them. The X right here, because it does kind of go into my wrist and it overlaps, that also didn't really hurt too much. I do have more tendonitis on this side, so there were times when it would be a little bit stiff. I think mostly the only issue that I had really was because it was all the way over here and wrapped around. It made it really hard to sign, and this is my signing hand, so I couldn't really move this for a good week. Now here is where we had some issues. The Eevee one has been done twice. I'm gonna give you a better like sort of close-up, as much close-up as I can. Hopefully you'll be able to see it here. Mostly around here you can see that it's a little bit, I guess for lack of a better word, spotty, right? Because there's places when the ink lifted off, and even though it's been reworked, you can still see it a little bit. I think it could probably do with another one, but my artist that redid it was like, you know, we don't want to do too much just in case, because the scars were lifting or like really showing when she was going around them. And she did the Pikachu actually. I got this done the same time as she redid this one. That one did come with a horror story though. The original artist essentially really overworked it, completely shredded my skin up. It took about 5 hours, I want to say, to do it, and like within 2 days, I think it was just over 24 hours when I took the wrap off, the Sanoderm off. It was really gross, and this was my first color tattoo, so I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but I could just look at it and think, I don't think it's supposed to be quite like this though. And I would keep messaging him, and I was like, I'm feeling a little bit concerned because it's very slimy and it doesn't look like my other tattoos when I would take the wrap off and things like that. I know it's color, so maybe it's different. And every time he would just be like, yeah, we can, it's fine, like don't worry about it, it's fine, just keep cleaning it, it's going to heal, don't worry about it. And days would go by, I would keep updating him with photos, and it was just getting worse and worse. I'm not entirely sure if I want to show pictures in case I do put up photos, just so you know there's probably going to be some photos, so if that's going to be kind of gross to you, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, around a couple of days in, it would start to scab, but not like the normal scabbing that you would get with a tattoo. It was looking like the Boone Mountains, the Boone, North Carolina mountains were forming on top of my thigh. It was so bad, like it was so thick. I was talking to other friends of mine that had gotten tattoos, and they were like, yeah, that doesn't look really too well, you know, talk to your artist. I'm like, I've been trying, but it keeps telling me not to worry about it and that it looks fine, you know, like it's healing up so nicely. And then a tattoo artist acquaintance of mine on my Facebook saw that, and she was like, that's infected and you need to go get it checked out. And I was just like, thank you. And she was like, you need to talk to your tattoo artist. And I was like, he said it's fine. And she was like, okay, then you need to go to literally anybody else than this guy. When she told me, and when 2 other tattoo artists that I followed on Instagram that I've actually now become, you know, acquaintances with as well, they were all in agreement, that's infected. It looked horrible. And so finally I felt like I wasn't, you know, just all in my head. And so not too long after all of them told me it was infected, just 3 hours after the guy told me, don't worry about it, it's fine, I told him, hey, some other tattoo artists have taken a look and told me it's infected. And he responded with, oh yeah, I was getting really worried that it was infected. Were you, buddy? Because I can pull up the messages right now that say just 3 hours before you said it was fine and it didn't look infected. Don't lie to me. And then he would say stuff like, well, I never had a tattoo come back infected before, you know, And I'm like, I mean, that's fine. You know, even tattoos done by the best artists can sometimes get infected. Like, I'm not saying it's your fault, and I'm not yelling at you that it's infected. I'm just concerned that it's infected, and I would like some help on what to do if it's infected. But don't sit here and lie to me and be like, oh, I was worried that it was getting infected, when no, you kept telling me it was fine and to not worry about it. And then he offered to redo it for free, but no. I went to the doctor, I got some cream, I got some antibiotics, I just used the cream for now. And it took another month, it took maybe a total of 2 months. The scabbing was horrible, but you know, it healed much better than I thought that it would. Don't Google tattoo infections too much, because some of the photos are of infections that are like really bad. Mine wasn't that bad, but in my head, you know, it's like when you go on WebMD and they tell you you're gonna die from a headache. That's what it was starting to feel like. So yeah, that wasn't the most fun of times, and the woman that I went to redo it, so I did pay extra money to redo it. The guy that originally did it was gonna do it for free. I almost took him up on it, but then I thought, let's not. And I thought that this guy would be okay because I've been to that shop before twice when I got this tattoo, and well, I should have known that when my friend did this and then she left 2 weeks later, that should have been a warning sign. But he owns the shop, so I thought maybe it should be okay. It's got great reviews, the other artists get great reviews, and no. The front desk who worked there at the time is also a friend of mine, and she was like, I wish you would have told me because he's not trained. I was like, great, that's great, okay, that's a lesson learned. But yeah, so we got it redone. And the woman that redid it and also did the Pikachu add-on, she was also helping me with the help of, she was helping me with the help of the owner of the shop that she works at. And so Tiny was telling me that it's kind of a toss-up between it is infected and it wasn't infected, but it was just extremely overworked and your skin was so shredded that it just scabbed like that because it was so overworked. Either way, he should have helped you out and, you know, not been so nonchalant and, you know, I don't see anything about it. Again, if something happened, anything can happen. A tattoo can get infected for any reason, and I'm not gonna get mad at you because it's infected, but when you're treating me as if I'm like making it up in my head or whatever, and that's an issue. And so every artist that I talk to that doesn't work at that shop, every time I've told them that story, they were absolutely flabbergasted. That was not a fun time. That was the worst tattoo that I had healing wise, and I was walking like a sumo wrestler for over a week. And so the difference in healing experience when I got the Pikachu and the Eevee reworked was astronomical. I was walking normally within like 2 days. So clearly that was a huge difference. That swore me off color tattoos for a while. Obviously I ended up getting the Pikachu after, but that was months later. But when I got the Eevee last September, I was so scared to get another tattoo, and then that's when I got this one after, and I knew I could trust my friend Noako. I knew I could trust her, but I was still, you know, ever so slightly frightened. And I just like, I don't think I ever want to get a color tattoo again. And then I did, after the Pikachu, which was this one, which was a flash piece. And I think it's adorable. I had been looking at this for so long, and that was done by an artist who'd done most of the ones on my arm over here. I had been looking at it for months, and I was like, you know what, finally I'm just gonna get it, because I feel like if I've been looking at it over and over and over for months, I don't want anybody else to get it. That tattoo took exactly 5 weeks to heal. I've noticed that with some artists it takes longer to heal. I think that's just because of me. Or I feel like with some artists, if they're more heavy-handed, then it's gonna take a little bit longer, but also because it's just, some people are just different. But I got this weeks after that one, and this one healed so fast. But again, it's not as heavy-handed. His name is Billy. He's adorable. I love him. Thankfully, the Luna and Moon, they both mean the same thing. But the Sailor Moon, Luna, the Moon one, it eventually healed. There's still some little thin like flaking, but you know, just some more washing and lotion and stuff, it'll be fine. So that thigh one was pretty painful. Just the original work of it was pretty painful because again, the guy shredded my leg and it took 5 hours to shred it. So, you know, somehow I sat through it, also sitting up straight. If I didn't have Gilmore Girls on the TV at the time, I don't know how well I would have done it, or I don't know how well I would have sat through it. Besides that one, the Luna one on the shin on the calf, that one hurt the most, and that one took maybe like 2.5 hours. Thankfully, Umbrella Academy was on TV for me to, you know, get distracted by. But that one definitely hurt. And it kind of made me want to swear off getting tattoos below the thigh, but I probably won't listen to myself because I just get more. You know, there's a trend on TikTok going around right now with tattoos, and they say who can sit through tattoos better than anyone else, and then the trending sound is girls. I'd like to add on to that and say chronically pained people. Whether this person is a man, a woman, non-binary, chronically pained people, you don't really want to mess with us because we'll just sit through it. We sit through the pain. It doesn't mean it's pleasant, obviously. It just means we're used to it. So we'll just sit. And it might hurt, but I mean, at least it's a little bit more enjoyable than chronic pain. I'd rather sit through needles than sit through my menstrual cramps and my back pain and my tailbone that I've broken twice. I'd rather have the needles. One funny story is when I got the Eevee thigh tattoo, and this was right after I posted it, just, you know, hours after it finished, and somebody commented on my Instagram telling me that I shouldn't be getting tattoos if I'm chronically pained. That she was a nurse or she was a doctor. No, she was a nurse, and her brother and her father were tattoo artists, and she was like really going at me in the comments, being like, you shouldn't be getting tattoos, like any good artist or, you know, all these doctors would be telling you shouldn't be getting tattoos and da-da-da-da because of this and that. False? A little bit false. Being chronically pained doesn't mean you shouldn't be getting tattoos. Many of us get tattoos and we're fine. The people who have done my tattoos have known that I deal with chronic pain. The doctor who saw the infection knew, didn't say anything. So I'm pretty sure it's fine for disabled people, for chronically pained people to get tattoos. Obviously, there might be some conditions where it's not the greatest idea to get them, but in my case, I really don't think there was really anything wrong with getting them, and so far I haven't died yet. So, and I'm on lucky number 13. Also, in case you noticed or didn't notice, yeah, my upper body is for black work only, and then I would get color on my legs. Although I'm not gonna lie, I think maybe I'll just stick with my left leg being a color, and then if I do have any on my other leg, well, I do. I have the hurricane on my right leg on the ankle, but I mean, whatever. I think I still would just prefer getting black. I don't know, but I am just that person that doesn't really want any color on my arms. Maybe if there's like little bits, maybe, but I know when my artist and friend wanted me originally to have like the Luna on my arm, but I was like, I can't because it's in color and I know I'm not gonna like it. I know I'm just not gonna like it. I'd rather have it on my color leg. I don't know, there's just, I don't know, I just think I would prefer to have it be all black. I mean, obviously I like black, so that's probably one of the reasons why, but I don't know. Maybe little bits and bobs of color, you know, but for the most part, I just would prefer otherwise. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to get this like filled in. It's not gonna be like a cover up, but it's kind of like gonna have, it's gonna be another epic high piece, and it's gonna be like kind of like faded in the background thing. I don't know, I gave the artist a general idea, and then like we'll probably figure it out when we get over there. Like, I'm not super picky about it, I just know that I want this, and then we can figure out how to make it look less like it's a sticker arm, you know. Learn from me. If you do get a tattoo, maybe don't put something right smack dab in the middle of it, but I mean, you can work it out and, you know, make it all look a little bit more cohesive. It's fine. It'll be like a nice little collage eventually. So that's my experience with being disabled and getting tattoos. You got a little tattoo tour, a little tattoo horror history. Zach, don't sue me for saying that, for saying horror history, but yeah, a little horror story, you know, going along with that. All good things wrapped into one video. But hi, my fellow disabled, chronically pained people. Let me know if you have any tattoos, what your experiences have been like. I'm very curious. If you'd like to support the work that I do have a Patreon page where there's so much more content coming. There is a super thanks down here if you'd like to throw or swing a couple of bucks. You know, it's kind of like a little tip jar for YouTube. It's around here somewhere. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I will see you later. Bye.